Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome to a fan forum here on Football Paradise. We've got the pleasure of being joined by some awesome, not just awesome lads, but awesome YouTubers as well. Some of these guys have created some fantastic content, and I'm really interested to hear their thoughts on last night's game, along with the rest of Euro 2024 games. Before I introduce our first guest, though, I thought I'd do something incredibly English and get the Sports Direct mug out. I'm sure most of you have come across these, so I'm just going to get myself a beverage and pop it in the Sports Direct mug, as you do. Now we've sorted that out, let's introduce our first guest. Let's go for Joe from the Albion Obsessed podcast. Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. How are you?
Very well. What's your name? Where'd you come from? We've met many a time.
We have. Sorry, my voice is a bit hoarse today. Yeah, I'm Joe, and I'm from the Albion Obsessed podcast. I'm a Brighton fan. I was lucky enough to be alongside Rai on the Amex tour, which was very, very good fun. I look a bit Phantom of the Opera today because of the sun to my right-hand side. And I'm rocking the purple England shirt with Lewis Dunk,
nice.
number 15 on the back as well. Had to be done. Very proud of Dunky for making it to the Euros. But yeah, excited to be here to talk all things Euros.
You're a top man, and we'll get, obviously, all your thoughts on the game in a moment, mate, before we introduce our next guest, Devon's finest, the Devon Mackham.
Thank you. So I'm over pie face then. I'm happy about that.
Say it again, mate.
Am I over pie face? Better than pie face?
I forgot about pie face. Maybe second.
Oh, come on.
Well, pie face is here, there, and everywhere now. He's probably moved on from Devon. So
yeah, he's not part of Devon anymore. He's fine. He's moved on. What about Ollie Watkins though?
True. Well, he's a proud villain now.
You're putting myself down a little bit here. Let's
just claim that title, grasp it. You're a typical England fan. You don't want to put two hands on the trophy, do you?
No, just one little finger's fine with me. That's fine.
And we have the pleasure as well by being joined by, hello, mate, Sam.
Hello. How are you guys? You all good?
We're all good. This is the first time we've spoke with Sam, and it's an absolute pleasure having you on, mate. Just introduce yourself, where you're from, what's your channel about?
So, I'm Sam, aka The Football Hipster. I do sort of football vlogs, a bit of football chat, and a regular existential crisis behind closed doors. But it's a pleasure to be here as making my debut on the channel. It's really good. Big admirer of your work. So, yeah, let's get down to business.
It's an absolute honour having all you on, boys. Some fantastic channels, by the way, guys. We have got a link to all the lads' channels in the description below. Firstly, though, what we're saying about last night's result, are we positive, or are we a little bit doom and gloom about the performance of the second half? What are we saying?
I'll say quite uninspiring, really. I'll go first. I would say it's uninspiring win yesterday with very little action. It was quite boring, let's be honest with you. But that is Southgate football, isn't it? We don't play fancy football. But at the end of the day, how can you complain so much when we won? We won, kept the clean sheet. That, it was a little bit nervy at times, but there is some brilliant stand-up players for that game. But yeah, we won. That's at the end of the day. That's what we'll start with. We won.
Yeah, the stat before the game was that England don't start very well at major tournaments. And I think Southgate has won every single opening game at every tournament he's led England to. So whilst I'm not exactly the biggest Southgate fan, I think there has to be a little bit of respect put on his name. The fact that he does get England playing when it matters. I know, obviously, we lost in the quarterfinals in the World Cup, and people were saying, well, it mattered then. But we're playing against France, and they're an extremely tough team to beat. And when you look back at the Euros last time out, it was a narrow defeat on penalties, and we were so close. So I don't think they're losses that you can blame on Southgate as such. The only thing that worries me a little bit is the game management, and that the fact that we should have maybe put more goals past Serbia yesterday. But we're a slow burner, and I think we'll grow into this tournament, and I think we will start scoring more goals, and I think we'll top the group with 9 points, to be honest.
Hipster, what we saying?
I think, yeah, game management's something that I had a problem with as well, and it's something that people criticise Southgate on a lot. Is when it comes to substitutions or lack thereof. I felt that Bowen played well when he came on for Saka, but for me, and it's not just because of the Chelsea flag to my left, but you've got Cole Palmer on the bench who offers something a little bit different, who I think is a little bit better at linking the play together going forward. When that was pretty much our problem from the start of the second half, and as it went on, it just became very disjointed. And other than Jude Bellingham doing what Jude Bellingham does, it was quite ropey. I think that we allowed Serbia into the game through our own mistakes. And actually, my biggest fear going into the game was defensively. I feel like a lot of people have obviously spoken about how we are quite sort of weak there compared to other nations and compared to what we usually have available. I thought they played all right. And I think that what we actually did was, as I say, allowed Serbia to get these good chances by giving the ball away cheaply. So if we can tidy up on that, which I'm sure we will, then I think, as Joe said, I'm pretty sure that we will grow into this tournament and do so well.
I mean, referencing Joe's facts there, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Is it prior to the game last night, I think we'd only won 1 in 10.
Yes.
I don't know if that was 1 in 10 major tournament opening games or Euro opening games.
I think it's just Euros.
Just Euros. So
although we haven't conceded a goal in the last 5 group stage matches, have we? So at the same time, we've done all right.
Yeah. So I mean, with that in mind, and again looking at the win ratio as well, I think Fabio Capello has topped the win ratio, but Southgate's not far behind. So yeah, the numbers are positive despite, like you say, a rather uninspiring performance. Again, referencing the Chelsea badge behind you, Sam. I mean, we spoke just there about Cole Palmer being on the bench, but I mean, Conor Gallagher came on, made a positive impact, don't you think?
Yeah, he's fantastic. Like, I love him to bits, and I'll be absolutely gutted if we sell him. It's not just because we both got a top knot, but he's just one of those players that will run and run and run. He's a bit Kante-esque in the sense that he will give everything for it. He seems to be everywhere. I was surprised that he didn't start, but I'm not disappointed with Trent's performance. I think he played better than I thought he would, but yeah, Conor Gallagher, man, he's so good.
I just want to reference the comments. We've got another fellow YouTuber in the house. I don't know if you guys have seen Around the Grounds.
Yes.
Good friend of mine. How's it going, mate? Morning. We've got another regular. How Germany and Spain have come out the blocks. We've got no chance of winning it with Southgate ball. I know a lot of negativity still around Southgate. Tell me how disrespected Bellingham was. I'm not sure what that's referencing, but I mean, Bellingham completely controlled the first half, wouldn't you say? I didn't really like that little shoulder barge thing. What were your thoughts on that?
I actually quite enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it? Yeah.
I thought that sometimes teams I watch, especially Brighton, we're far too nice to the opposition, and you want someone in your side to be that idiot. And Bellingham's got that sort of Real Madrid edge where he's like, I'm better than you. I'm just going to push you because I can. And I think that sometimes does give you the competitive edge, gets you into the opponent's heads. So I wouldn't want to see it all the time, but like at specific moments in games where you want to get the fans ramped up a bit, I don't mind it, to be honest.
I mean, I was just worried about, every time our big star enters a big tournament, you had like Beckham and Rooney, they always lost their head and got sent off. But I think with Jude, he's fully in control of his emotions and actions, isn't he? That's the difference.
He's got this sort of, it's not even a sort of cockiness in a bad way. It's just like positive arrogance and self-belief. And you're right, Joe. I think it is this sort of Madrid installed mindset where he goes onto the pitch and just thinks, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, however I'm going to do it. And if you get in my way, it's not going to happen. And yeah, he absolutely bossed the first half. And I think even in the second half, his work defensively as well was really, really impressive. And he's going to be so integral to what we do and can do in this tournament.
I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the BBC punditry. We had Rio Ferdinand, Cesc Fabregas and Mika Richards speaking about how Phil Foden is almost like for England. He's completely out the game. He should take a leaf out of Jude's book and just grab the game by the balls and just assert himself and his confidence and stuff. Do you think Foden's maybe lacking, Kyle, compared to Bellingham in that England side?
Well, they're quite different players to compare in a way. They are completely different players. And with Bellingham playing under Real Madrid, and then there's Foden with Man City, they're just a completely different setup. So it's hard to really say for Foden to be more like Bellingham or vice versa. I think they're both good players and they both do their own thing. And I can't really say that Foden should be more like Bellingham, because I think Foden is one of England's best players as well.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I mean, Foden, again, when he's out wide, he does come in and cut in, but obviously he's not quite got the control of the game as Bellingham would have positioned in the middle. Again, do you think it's a situation Southgate needs to look at? Should we have Rice as a standalone holding midfielder and bring Foden in a little bit more narrow? What are you saying, guys?
I don't know. I think it just depends on what opposition we're playing against. If you're up against a lesser team, and I'm not saying Serbia are by any means, because I thought they were really good yesterday and quite strong. But if you're coming up against, I don't know, let's go back to the qualifiers. If you're playing against San Marino or Malta or someone like that, then absolutely you can give Foden the free license to do whatever he wants to do. But I think when you're in a major tournament, you have to have players with some sort of structure. Foden was sort of floating in between that number 10 role and both of the wide areas yesterday. So there is license to give Foden that freedom. It's just about getting him on the ball and giving him the space to do what he does best. And I think that relies on the other players to be in the right positions to allow Foden that space and to drag people out of the way for him. So I think there is scope to have both Bellingham and Foden in those sort of more advanced areas.
I mean, that raises the question as well, guys. It was in the media leading up to the game. Trent's inclusion as that holding midfielder next to Rice. What we're saying, did he do well? Obviously, he came off. Did he come off for Gallagher, possibly?
Yeah, I think so. I think he I was happy with Trent. I thought he did all right. I think that, focusing on the comment that we got here, I thought the left side was a problem as well. And I thought that there were a handful of players that were disappointing. Foden being one of them for me. I thought he offered not a lot, really. Half the time he got the ball, he ended up running it into players and falling over. You had Harry Kane as well, I think, was a player that ghosted. Trippier, I thought was okay. I don't know. For me, it was a game of some players did really well. Some players underperformed in my eyes. Players like Mark Gay, I thought as well, was someone that I think really stepped up to the challenge. I believe that's his first major tournament, at least starting in. And I thought he lived up to the prospect there very well. But I think it's players like Foden that, as we've said, he's such a talented player. He needs to sort of kick on a little bit. And whether it's a system problem or whether it is just having an off game, have those early on, that's fine, especially when we're getting the 3 points. But later on, against your Frances, against your Netherlands, and these more sort of physical sides and more quality in the team, that's going to need to sort of fizzle out.
I mean, just look at, for example, Argentina in the World Cup. Terrible opening game against Saudi Arabia. Often the teams that come out flying, like Germany have, like Spain have, don't go on to win the competition. Lineker joked that we could be a slow burner. Again, 3 points in the bag. It worked in our favour that the other game was a 1-1 draw. So we're ahead already. We're doing well. But that also raises the question again. You spoke about Mark Gahey. Do you think that solid centre-back partnership, the fact that he played really well, would give Southgate a bit more confidence going into the next couple of games, and maybe we wouldn't have to protect that back four quite as much?
I hope so. I think, as I say, there was a lot of us that felt nervous going into it, but there was they played better, I think, than what we thought. Although John Stones again was another one that had a few shaky moments, but yeah, I think that seems like the partnership for me at the very least. I'm content with.
Yeah. I mean, for me, obviously, yeah.
Go on, mate.
Exactly. So they done well. For me, obviously, I hope that Guehi does get dropped for Lewis Dunk, but that's just complete and utter bias.
I forgot you got the Palace Brighton bias. Yeah.
If I talk with a completely neutral England head, I thought Guehi did really well yesterday. And if you grow a centre back partnership into the tournament, it should be where we want it to be when it really matters in the knockout rounds.
I also want to ask you specifically, Joe, how you feel about Palace being the most represented team for England at the Euros.
I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, they got one goalkeeper who won't play, Adam Wharton, who is there probably just for the experience. I mean, he's a good player. Let's not lie here. I won't be an absolute idiot and say they're all crap players, because they're all fantastic players in their own right. Eberechi Eze has the ability to come on and change the game. So as soon as he's in an England shirt, unfortunately, I will be supporting him as much as the other lads. But it just is what it is.
You just get behind the lads, don't you? I'm the same. When it comes to England, regardless of who they play for, I'm fully behind the lads. It was a weird one with Saka, because he completely dominated that side in the first half, but he was just having no luck at all, or he was just getting completely marked out of the game in the second half. I think he came off for Jared Bowen, was that right? Now, when Bowen came on, I said to my missus, I don't think Bowen, this is quite controversial, I don't think Bowen is good enough at this moment in time to wear an England shirt. And I love Bowen because I'm from Hereford. He grew up through Hereford United, Hereford FC, so I've got a kind of fondness for him. But I just think, again, maybe bringing on Cole Palmer might have been a better decision, but then Bowen did come on and make a bit of a difference as well. What's your thoughts on Bowen coming on at that time?
I think Bowen, my problem with that substitution wasn't Bowen as a player. It was the fact that it was so like for like. And at that point, as you said, Saka was struggling, and bringing on Bowen, who is, as I say, a like for like. He can do the dirty work at the back, but also contribute going forward. I disagree with you, and I think he is good enough to wear an England shirt. Maybe he's not the same sort of stature of name as like your Fodens or your Bellinghams or whatnot, but I still think he's a good sort of, he's a player that gets the job done. I think, why I wanted Palmer on was purely, as I say, because he just offers something a little bit different. And, as you said, it wasn't working at that point. So why go for a like for like when you could just shake it up a little bit, give the opposition something else to deal with?
And as well, we need to make reference that Bowen wasn't really playing kind of central, was he? Kind of came out wide. I don't know. For me, I feel like Bowen's better in that almost that false nine position, a bit like Kai Havertz. He's played it a little bit for West Ham. But yeah, I hope I am wrong, because I do really like the bloke. In terms of, do you think the second half it was more Serbia's performance being better, or do you think we just completely lost our head and lost our own game plan? What are we saying, Devon Mackham, Devon's finest after Polyface?
I like that. I'm not going to let it go to my ego at all. Right, that's it. Beth Perkin and Devon talking now. Everyone be quiet. No, Serbia just stepped up a little bit in that second half. I think. I don't think England. They didn't really change the game plan at all. Really, it was just the same plan at the end of the day. And I'm going to come to that in a minute. Were Harry Kane. Now, what I noticed in the second half was Harry Kane kept going right back, and he ended up actually heading that ball away. I think Pickford would have had it, but he was back like a defender at some point. And that was the one change I noticed in that second half, that Harry Kane didn't look like he was going to be going forward to try and get a goal at all. If anything, he looked like they were all coming back, and he definitely was coming back, and ended up really turning into a centre-back.
Did you not think that Harry Kane was just completely marked out the game? I can't remember the name of the centre back they've got. They've got that giant, haven't they? Like 6'5" giant, completely dominated him.
Yeah, he was, to be fair. I don't think Harry Kane was going to see a goal. Maybe, he got close with that header, didn't he? But that was the closest. I mean, that was the only chance, wasn't it? All game, I think. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. So I think he just thought, I'm not doing anything here. I'm not doing anything. I'm gonna go back and defend. That'll be fine.
I mean, guys, I want to get your thoughts on the formation as well, because I made a little video yesterday morning where I thought maybe it would be more beneficial to move Trent out wide as like a wing back, with a flat back three of Walker, Stones, and Gahey, and then obviously Trippier on the other side. Sit Rice just in front of the defence. But do you think we do need those two guys sat in front of the defence, or do you think we could have gone with like a 3-5-2, whatever that would be?
I think that's the beauty of having this England squad, is that you have got players in there that can be so versatile and you can change that shape during the game. I did see a back three of Walker, Stones and Guehi a few times yesterday. And I did see Trent going out wide and Trippier was up high. And I think you need that when you don't have... I don't think Foden is really an effective wide player. So when we talk about the left-hand side of Trippier, didn't really have much going forwards. He didn't have an out-and-out winger ahead of him, and I think that does affect a fullback's performance. Whereas Walker had Trent pulling out onto that side and Saka pulling out onto that side in the first half. So I think there is a slight imbalance. And then if we do play three at the back, again, you've got Trippier isolated. So again, it's just it depends on how we grow into a game and what Southgate thinks is the best shape. But I think we can operate that back three if we need to.
I mean, I'm going to get called bias because obviously he plays for Manchester United, but do you not think that we massively miss Luke Shaw? I always say for Manchester United, Luke Shaw is the most underrated player, just on that left-hand side, making the overlap runs. Do you think we miss Luke Shaw specifically or just a left-back in general?
I like Luke Shaw. I would like to see Luke Shaw. He's injured, isn't he, at the moment? Or he nearly on his way back. He's on the bench, wasn't he? Was he not?
Yeah, I think he might make it for the third group game, possibly. I'm not sure if you guys know any more on his injury update, but I mean, I'm not knocking Trippier. He's just the fact he's a right-footed player. That's all I'm worried about.
Yeah, you do see it like he's trying to sort of shift onto his right foot to deliver across, and those sort of extra seconds in making that decision in knockout football when we get there eventually is going to be, the difference. Because if you're having a player that can just get the ball in, Harry Kane or Jude Bellingham are attacking the ball, great. But if you're waiting for a player to shift onto their stronger foot, it's not great. So I think we are lacking a left-footed left back, and we would be very, very beneficial to have Luke Shaw back.
So off the back of that game, guys, what do we think, or how do we think Gareth Southgate will line up against Denmark on Thursday? Do you think he's going to stick with the same team, the same formation, tactically the same? What are we saying?
I'd like to see similar. I mean, going back to sort of the chat about whether it should be a 3-back or a 4-back, like Joe said, it's the beauty of this team is that we can keep the opposition guessing on that front. So, I mean, as a Chelsea fan, I've seen 3-backs, I've seen 4-backs, I've seen the lot, to be honest. We've had so many managers. But, I don't mind. It's just how that's set up. For me, the biggest problem that needs to be fixed is that left side. Because if you've got a left back who's trying to knock it onto his right, and then Phil Foden, who doesn't look comfortable playing on the left, that's why all of our creativity was coming down the right. And ultimately, we didn't really get enough balls into the box. So if those two problems can be fixed, whether that is through players, whether that's just through a slight tweak of the system, I think that's all that needs to be addressed, really following on from this.
What are we saying, Devon Mackham?
I'll keep it the same. We didn't have a lot going forward, but Denmark, you could argue, are probably a better team than Serbia, but let's hope that first game was just a warm-up game. I don't believe that his starting 11 really needs to be changed. I just don't think that first game, like Joe said, we take time to warm up into like Euro or World Cup, etc. I wouldn't change it if early on. Maybe if things go disastrous against Denmark, then it needs a sudden change. But it worked. We didn't concede at the end of the day. Yeah. Serbia are still a good team. They're not Albania. They're not Georgia. They're still a good team. Go into the Denmark game with very similar setup and see how that goes. Maybe if the first half isn't that great, make some other changes differently. Conor Gallagher again, bringing him on. He was brilliant. And I mean, maybe a little bit biased. I'd like to see Watkins come on and have a chance. He can take things on his own. Kane, he's more of a waiter for the ball. He's a bit like a Haaland. Yeah, he can finish, yeah, he can score goals, but he doesn't create chance a lot himself. Where Ollie Watkins he would go through the middle and actually try and take on the different defender at the back for Denmark. So I would like to keep personally the only difference if Ollie Watkins come off the bench. I wouldn't expect him to start, but that would be the only change I'd make. Maybe at halftime. You
just know that Southgate's never going to take Kane off, though, don't you? You just know that Kane's on regardless of his performance. Obviously, being captain and stuff helps that. Joe, you mentioned about fullbacks. I know it's a bit 2020. Do you think Saka could play as a wing back on the left like he did back in the day a little bit?
I mean, I guess it's an option, but it's not ideal at all. We know how good he is in the position that he's playing at the moment, and I don't think you would want to take him away from that unless it was like a full-on emergency situation. I think I agree with the guys that you don't want to change it too much. You want to go into the next game and try and get a bit of fluidity in the squad and get them to sort of play together as much as they can, so that we're looking good going into the next rounds. And I think that this squad will only grow into the tournament. And one thing worth mentioning as well is that the Lionesses won a scrappy 1-0 win when they won the Euros first game. So if we've done that the same, then hopefully it's a good omen and we can go on to win the whole thing.
At the end of the day, right, look at France. They didn't exactly play the prettiest of football, in some of their wins. It's not about playing pretty, free-flowing football as much as it's enjoyable these days. At the end of the day, we take that game, that result, every single game of this tournament, wouldn't we? And with this in mind, I just want to, before we move on to today's games, guys, I want to catch your predictions for those as well. How confident are you after that first game? Firstly, what are your score predictions for the Denmark game on Thursday? And do you think realistically we have got a chance at bringing it home, obviously?
It's a $1 million question, isn't it? Right, okay. So can we bring it home? I'll start there. I think we've got as good a chance as everybody. Although, again, looking at your teams like Germany and how they've started, that is a worry compared to our performance. However, one point to make about the game, if we haven't talked about it enough already, is the fact that obviously Serbia just had everyone back. And I think that also factors into why we struggle to create chances. So teams like Denmark are going to do that to some extent, but they are also going to try and commit a bit more going forward. So I can see us winning that 2-1. Even that feels too ambitious. I just think that if we sort of improve and get these wins, however pretty they are, because people complain about Southgate ball, but at the same time, he has given all of us here right now the best memories for watching England teams in possibly all of our lifetime, at the very least my lifetime. And I think he gets a lot of stick purely on his style of play, not the results he gets on the pitch. So going forward, yes, we can win the Euros. I don't know how confident I am that will happen, but anything can happen in football.
Joe, what are we saying?
Yeah, I think we've got as good a chance as anyone. We've got some big game players that can turn up in really big moments, especially Jude Bellingham, if he can continue to pop up and get the goals to win us games. We know what this squad is capable of. We know what Southgate's capable of. I've been one of Southgate's biggest critics over the last few years. However, you have to agree with what you were saying about how he's given us such good memories as England fans, and the fact that yes, this might be his last tournament, so hopefully he can deliver one final time and really get us, having this generation really is the golden generation, and we can look back on it and be proud. And I think in years to come that we will look back on this sort of generation and be really proud of what they've achieved. people say they haven't achieved anything because they haven't won a trophy. They've achieved a lot more than what a lot of England.
Joe, you're sounding like an Arsenal fan.
Oh, goodness me. I'm going to stop talking now. But
You're going to get you that second place trophy out, yeah?
I really believe that they've achieved, a lot more than what maybe they thought Gareth Southgate would achieve as England boss. And they've brought a nation together, and they've got us believing every single time they take to a major competition. So why can't we? I think we'll do all right. And the next game, I think we'll
Thursday. Come on,
win that 3-0. Why not?
Get some confidence going. You see, you're a wordsmith. You've gone down the dark alley of anti-Southgate, and maybe he's not the man until. Why can't we?
I'm not saying he's not the man. I'm saying that, even in my negative thoughts, that you have to look at the facts, and that he has given us the best times as an England fan.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
I'm only playing you up because you're looking quite dark, and you're like an evil Bond villain in that shot today.
Terrible, isn't
it? Devon Mackham, are you as confident as Joe with a 3-0 win this Thursday?
Not quite 3-0. I'd say 2-0. So near enough. We're very good at the back, aren't we? Let's be honest. I don't see us conceding. Denmark are a little bit step up from Serbia, but I can still. We won't get 4-0 last time we played Denmark. Was it in the semi? We'll get quarter. I don't remember what it was. In the last Euro.
God, I know that they obviously.
It was in the semis.
Saved the penalty, didn't he? And Kane.
Yeah.
Was it 2-0?
We're being quite comfortable with 2-0.
It was very close.
2-1.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
I don't know what it was. But either way, I
don't know what game you're watching, but I wish it was 4-0. Yeah.
I don't remember what it was anyway. But I would say it's going to be 2-0. Do I think we're going to win the Euro? I'd say no. Harry Kane, I believe, in a curse, and he never wins a trophy. He moved to Bayern, he doesn't even win a trophy there. So, okay, Harry Kane's retired, and Watkins up front. Yeah, we'll win the World Cup, we'll win the Euros. There you go.
Yeah, I saw where that was going. I saw as soon as you started dissing Harry Kane, I was like, here's the Watkins.
Yeah. But guys, we can find it over there. Yeah.
About how we were worried about England's defence prior to yesterday. But I think if there's one thing we can take from that game is the defence, especially the centre-back partnership, is a lot more secure than what we might have thought. But we all thought that we might concede goals, but score goals as well. I think the opposite will happen. I think the defence will be fairly secure against Denmark. I'm going to say 2-0 England. But if you wouldn't mind as well giving us some more predictions on today's games, because we've got another 3 games, which my missus is really not looking forward to because I've completely hogged the TV. I'm sorry, Hipster and Devon Mackham, but we'll put it on briefly. We've got Romania versus Ukraine. So just keep that in mind as you do your score predictions. Romania versus Ukraine. Should we start with the Hipster? What are we saying?
I'm not massively inspired by Romania. I think they've got a few decent talents that have come through the last few years, but I don't think that's enough when you've got the likes of Mikhailo Mudryk, obviously the Ukrainian GOAT. And they've got obviously more quality. I don't think it's going to be goals galore this game, but I think Ukraine 2-0.
Ukraine 2-0. Joe, what are we saying?
I'm just trying to bring up my match predictor app to see what I predicted a few days ago.
That. Devon Mackham, any idea on the score? Romania, Ukraine?
Ukraine will win that. They're a lot better team, but again, they're not like anything world class. But I'm going to say Romania 0, Ukraine 1. Mudryk, like the football hipster said, is a great player, and he's only getting better. And he's definitely going to score a couple in this Euro. 1-0 Ukraine.
Joe?
So I've got Ukraine to win 2-0 on my match predictor, which I'm doing quite well on. And I got 17 points for predicting the England game right yesterday. Get in there. I do have Mudryk to score the first goal. Now, as much as Brighton and Chelsea haven't had the best of relationships, over the last few years.
Well, it's been good for Brighton and money.
It has been great.
Money.
It's great. You've lined our pockets beautifully. I do quite like Mudryk only because De Zerbi loves him. He said in a press conference once, loves him like a son. So I hope Mudryk does well because I back De Zerbi whatever he says. But yeah, 2-0 Ukraine.
2-0 Ukraine. I'm going to go 2-1 Ukraine. Next game we've got today is Belgium versus Slovakia. Surely only one winner there, guys. Belgium, Slovakia. What we saying?
Well, obviously that's Slovakia, isn't it? No, I've got Belgium in my sweepstakes, so I need some big stuff here. It's the end of the golden generation, really. This is sort of their last chance to get anything from it. Even now, it seems like it's already too far gone for them. But I think against a team like Slovakia, they should be absolutely fine. I think they'll win that 4-0.
4-0. Yeah. Mackham.
Mm.
Sorry, Joe, if I wasn't cutting you out.
No. Don't worry.
We're going on. Yeah. Belgium, again, like the football himself said, they are fizzling out from being one of the best. They were at one point one of the best teams in the world, weren't they? Or at least on the FIFA ranking, they were what top 5. And they're going to clearly start coming down. And I don't see any players really coming into the national team of Belgium that are anything special, really. I could be wrong there, but I'm going to go for a Belgium 2-0 winner. Still good at the moment, but they're on their way out. It's a Latera.
Joe?
I've got Belgium to win 4-2. And so I do
Ooh.
agree that they'll score 4 goals, but I think Slovakia might get a couple. I think they're a little bit shaky defensively, Belgium. So, 4-2.
Have you put a cheeky bet on that score? Because you'd probably get good odds on that, 4-2.
I haven't, but I have got Lukaku to score first. So,
nice.
If that's worth anything.
I think Belgium are going to have a similar game to England last night. I think they're just going to... I think, similar to us, they've underperformed over the years, and I think maybe Belgium 1-0. The last game we've got today is Austria versus France. Only one winner again. Hipster.
Good luck, Austria.
I don't know, because I think Austria, I don't think we should underestimate them. I think they are one of the sort of underdogs to spring a surprise here and there. I don't think, however, that they are going to, that they are obviously a better team than France. France, for me, are probably the best overall squad that we've got in this tournament.
Yeah.
So I am going to go... All that being said, I think France will win. And I think with Kylian Mbappe, I said before the tournament, it's going to be a real standout tournament for him, as if he needs any of those already. I think they're going to win 3-1.
Devin Mackham, TDM.
Yeah, TDM. I'm going to say 3-0 France. Keep it nice and simple. France are brilliant. They are the team that I think are going to win the Euros this year. And I think it'll be very, very easy for them. They're just too good at the moment. They really are. I'll be very shocked if they don't at least make it to the final.
Joe?
I think they're another team that are just going to start really strong and get a hefty scoreline and make us worry about our chances again. So, yeah, France 3-0.
3-0. Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1, the same as the Hipster. I reckon it really is a point for Mbappe to prove, obviously going to Madrid and stuff. And yeah, they're going to be a force, aren't they? But lads, I think we should finish this up with, again, your outright winner prediction. You did mention France, TDM, going for France.
Yeah, I'm really wearing that. Yeah, I can't go with France.
Hipster.
So I did my predictions by sort of going on the Telegraph thing and working it out all the way through, and I ended up with Netherlands as my winners. So I think that they will be... the reason why I went for them is I can just see them turning up on the day, and they are a team that tend to grow into the competition. Very physical. Frankie de Jong's a big miss, but... yeah, I've got to stick with them now. It's on the internet forever. So,
hey, Argentina lost their opening game in the World Cup. I know Netherlands didn't lose, but I wouldn't take that as they're out of it by any means. 100%. Joe,
I am going to go for a home win for Germany, and I go for that because of Pascal Gross, and I love Pascal Gross. So yeah, there you go.
I'm not sure who he plays for. I've completely forgotten, but
no idea.
Guys, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to end this stream with, I've got a bit of a predictions kind of competition going with a guy called Lucas. He was a little bit angry after the England game, but I am going to overlay his predictions for today because we're going in head-to-head competition. We both chose Germany as our outright winners. So just to change it up a bit, I swapped my prediction and I went for Portugal. So I'm interested to see how they'll get on. I think they're playing tomorrow, possibly, or the day after. I can't remember. But lads, an absolute pleasure, and everyone. Yeah. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let's start with Sam. Tell the people where they can find you again. A little bit about your channel and stuff.
I'm terrible at selling myself. I basically go to football games and I will film it and I will film myself and put that on the internet for all to enjoy. And it is more entertaining than that sounds. But yeah, try and go to the best games all around the country, this, that and the other. My name is The Football Hipster on all socials, so you can find me there.
And you're like a trendy, cool Thogden, a more likeable Thogden.
I will leave that to everybody else.
No offense, Thogden. I like your work. You are a bit Marmite. The Devon Mackham. Devon's finest.
Devon Mackham. There it is. There. The Devon Mackham. I don't know whether to be offended.
Better looking pie face, should I say?
Oh, thank you. There you go. Let's go then. Budget pie face. The Devon Mackham. Search me on Southware. I'm going to be going to a lot of games in the Southware, especially next season. I want to be the advocate for the Southwest football and showcasing that. So you can find that in my channel, mainly with, Buckland Athletic.
Awesome stuff. And Joe, give us a bit about the Albion Obsessed.
Yeah, so we're a podcast that just chat rubbish about Brighton Hove Albion. We don't know what we're saying half the time. So if you want to hear a lot of Brighton fans talk absolute rubbish, come over and join us. Albion Obsessed across all socials, and join the Pascal Gross Appreciation Club.
Lads, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to pop on Lucas's predictions now. They are a bit angry, so viewer discretion, is that the terminology? Is advised. Here we go.
Saturday, boys and girls, just watching England. I've done my post-match analysis because they're an absolute fucking embarrassment. England are a fucking joke, fucking useless. In this competition, they'll go absolutely nowhere. Be surprised if they make it out of the fucking group. My predictions for tomorrow: Austria 0, France 3, Romania 0, Ukraine 1, Belgium 2, Slovakia 0.
So, last but not least, I need to open a pack of Euro 2024 stickers. So I'm going to do that, guys. I will give you a little bit of a breakdown as to how the sticker album is looking maybe in tomorrow's episode. So let's see what we've got. Let us know as well if you are collecting Euro 2024 stickers. I am 34 years old, so it's probably not... Oh, a bit of a weird one to start off with. Rico Lewis is not even at the tournament. We've got... Arsenio, is it? We've got a legendary Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Oh, another England one. Just spoke about him. No, we haven't. Tomori. I've completely messed that up. We've got a Romania sticker over here. Yeah, that didn't go well at all, ladies and gents. They're the stickers. I'll give a breakdown in the future videos. For some reason, this is flip reverse, so that was a nightmare. But boys, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow for another edition of Euro Daily. Thanks for watching.